Okay, perfect. So let's start. So good to see you on an weekday evening. Surprising to see so many of you keeping all of your work aside and joining us to learn more new things. Learn about CFA specifically, right? So right now today we have Adish sir. He is our CFA faculty. I'm myself Sushil Prabhakar. I handle the admissions and counseling department for CFA for Zell. And in the panel, we have Zen Latif. He is our counselor. So he'll also help you with all the question and answers that you guys post on the chat box, right? So let's get started straight away, right? Today we are going to learn a few things from Adish sir, and I'll also tell you how to go about CFA. So Adish sir, over to you. You want to take over?
Yeah, sure. Can you please confirm how audible, visible? What's the status?
It's perfect. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
And
Thank you so much, Satish, for the opportunity, and to the Zell as well. Thanks so much. So I see approximately 50 plus students are here, 57. The numbers are significantly 52 attendees are there, which is amazing. Great. So as you said, it is really quite interesting. And one second, just 1 second. I thought, yeah, it's 51. So as you said, it's really interesting to see that we have students, we are really motivated to go beyond in their careers, because I believe all those people whom we are talking to today are already somewhere in their career. They may either be already pursuing BCom or some engineering course or an MBA, right? Despite if they look forward for something in their career, in itself is good. In itself is something which is appreciable as a compliment for them. Perfectly fine. So as we said, without wasting much time, we'll quickly be getting started. But just before that, I will have something interesting to do. As in, so Satish, can these guys message on the chat box? Like, are they allowed to message or no?
Yeah. There is a chat box, so they can ask any question. We have Zen also to answer the question. Even I'll be available
Okay.
to answer.
Okay. So if you allow, if you think it makes sense, can I do a quick activity? I just want to know these people, as in, I just
Sure.
want to know about their qualification or maybe the work experience. That works?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, a small request to everyone, if all of you, if all of you can do, just put two simple things in the chat box. First, your qualification, as in if you may be pursuing BCom. So you just have to write two simple words: pursuing BCom, pursuing MBA, just MBA or BCom, BBA, whatever, right? And then you'll have to write, if you're a fresher, just write fresher. If you're not a fresher, just type down your profile or the name of the company, preferably the profile. Guys, can you please do this, a small thing, everyone? So we have Amol, who's CA Inter and BCom. Cool. Amit's ACCA finalist. Okay, perfect. Yes, everyone, waiting for the responses. Hathway is here. Then Yash is here from the science background. Yash PHM. Okay. Kevin BMS. Abhilash studying BCom. Working. Nishant is working. Great, Nishant. Open no job experience. Pursuing BCom honors. School. Naman. BMS. Then we have Akansha pursuing MBA. Cool, perfect. Shailesh MBA fresher. We have SCCA student as well. But you want to enter into finance? Good, nice take. Sayyad is here. Hi. Dipendra, graduate. CMA exam. Okay, preparing for further examination. Okay, Sharat. Cool, I see. Oh, we have Mayur coming from engineering side. Okay. Then someone from BA Economics. Someone is a consultant at EY. Great. Nishant, BCom. Okay. Aditi comes from data engineering. Great. Then Kiran, who is Kiran, may I know what is Bachelor of VOC? What does that stands for, Kiran? Sayyad this year is already MBA and CA, still trying to look for something. Kiran, what does B.VOC stands for? BFS, I understand, obviously. Okay, Chandresh is also here. Cool. Great, perfect. So I see people from various background right? From BCom to MBAs to even engineers to even students who are doing CA or already qualified as CA. Amazing. This is great to see everyone. Perfect. So the purpose of keeping this session is very simple. A lot of you guys approach we as a faculty or approach Zell as an institute to ask simple question about their career. What is the question they are facing? Sir, obviously, we see a scenario where skill development has become a core. If you really want to excel, or if you want to even survive, forget excelling. If you want to survive, what is needed at today's point is some skills, some enhancement to your career, right? So whether you are a CA student, as we have, or MBA students, or any graduation student, right? At some point, they are confused about, sir, should we now, what should be next? Should it be MBA, which should start to pursue, or should be CFA, right? Even CA and ACCA student who also hold some decent level of qualification also try to have some advancement, which again ask a question, sir, should we go for MBA or should we go for CFA? Even MBA students are asking this question, should along with MBA, should we also start to pursue CFA? So all such questions or similar questions are going to get answered through the discussion which we are going to do. Primarily, why should you prefer CFA over MBA, right? Or what are the things which CFA is going to give you, which MBA won't be able to give you, right? This is the primarily the point of our discussion. We have, I think someone has raised his hand or something. So Satish, I see someone has raised his hand. What will be the next thing? Like, should he be typing down in the your mute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Ashik, if we would really, it'll really help us if you put your questions on the chat during the webinar. I think Adish can take you through on a continuous level, or else there'll be a lot of disturbances. And at the end of the session, we'll take a question answer session one-on-one. Yeah.
Exactly. So at any
Okay.
point, if you guys feel that you have a lot of questions, obviously at the end we'll be having question and answer session where I'll be answering all the technical part. We have in the panelist, we also have the counselor, which will also be helping you with whatever are your queries. Correct. So just a second, I'll be sharing my screen and then we can get started. Just hold on. Well, I presume everyone must be able to see the screen. I will seek one more minute. I'm organizing my desktop, chats and participants and everything. Okay. We have few more people who have responded. Just one sec. Cool. So I'll very quickly introduce myself, okay? And then we get started. Perfect, people. So as you all know my name now, since Satish has already introduced, it's Adish Jain, and I am a CA and a CFA. So I completed my CA back in 2016. Then in 19, I could complete my CFA. While pursuing CFA, I also started to work with corporate. So I worked for 2 years, 1 year each with ICICI Securities and Morgan Stanley. So this was the time period when I practically applied what I learned during CFA and CA. So the profile was equity research. I hope all of you understand what equity research is, because if you pursue CFA, it will be one of the most preferred profile which an employer would be looking for. Right? So if you're a CFA, obviously you are a perfect package for him to join as an equity research analyst. What exactly the profile is, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about that later. So I continued to pursue CFA and also worked in Mumbai. After completing my CFA in 19, I decided to come back to my hometown and I started teaching. So I teach CFA students, as I'm here, obviously. I teach CA final students. So for CA final student, there is this subject called as SFM, Strategic Financial Management. So I teach CA final students and I also train students on financial modeling. Yet another very much needed skill required especially for the capital market profiles, right? So this was a super quick, brief intro about myself, post which obviously we can be now getting started. The point of discussion today is 5 things that CFA will teach you or CFA will give you that MBA won't be able to give you, right? And the reason I'm saying that is very clear. I would be able to justify each and every point that I'll be sharing with you. The first one of which is knowledge of finance and investments. Everyone, to be very precise, the precision with which CFA curriculum has been designed is amazing, right? Considering not just the scenario of a particular country. I hope you all realize CFA is a global course. In the sense, it is globally recognized course, right? They know a candidate who's being prepared for CFA, right, might end up working in any of the countries. So the curriculum has been designed with precision and is really updated considering the current economic situation, right, in all the countries. So the precision with which it gives you the technical knowledge, right, is really depth, detailed, comprehensive. For example, if I have to compare it with MBA precisely, let me give you a few examples. In CFA, see, I hope you all understand what is portfolio management. What is portfolio management? I hope everyone would have answered this to you, this question to yourselves. Let me also brief it up. For example, there's a person who's managing the stocks, not necessarily stock, it may be the bonds or any other assets, right? When you make an investment in the multiple asset classes, including the shares, bonds, real estate, and whatnot, all these assets, all these investments as a whole, you call as portfolio management. Perfect. And this, all these assets as a whole, you call as portfolio, and obviously managing those assets as to deciding which assets to invest in, which is better, when to buy, when to sell, right? What should be the weight of each asset in the portfolio? Everything is regarding portfolio management. MBA would never teach you if a portfolio has performed, right? If the portfolio has given a loss or a gain in a particular year, right? MBA might not be able to teach you what was the reason of the gain or the loss. Was it the market, overall economic situation in the country, or it was the manager who did not perform well? Please understand, you may be very well skilled. You after becoming a chartered, please understand this thing. You after becoming a chartered might be very well skilled to create a portfolio, to construct a portfolio and manage it. Despite there is a possibility that your portfolio might end up incurring losses, because beyond you is the economy, which will also decide how will your portfolio perform. Everyone, CFA will help you analyze the portfolio return. CFA will help you find out what led to returns, whether it were positive, whether it was negative, even if there was a gain, even if there was a loss. This will be, you will learn to analyze in CFA. Okay, what was the ultimate reason? Was it the economy? Was it the market that did well? Or it was your specific choice of portfolio of stocks that did well? Is it only your stocks that performed well, or is it the economy or the market in general or the asset class in general that did well? This is one example. Another example would be, for example, options. You all understand derivatives, futures, and option. I believe all of you must have heard call put. Everyone, a lot of people do trading call put. Even if you don't, you will obviously get to know, as you know a bit about a CFA or the basics of capital market, basics of stock market. Finding out or the calculating premium that you should pay to purchase an option. Whether you purchase a call option or you purchase a put option, you have to pay something. How much premium should you be paying? That calculation is extremely technical. These technicalities might not be taught at MBA level, but are taught at CFA level. Understanding the accounting concepts to its real depth, understanding the analysis. MBA won't teach you what exactly are the deferred tax assets and liabilities. It won't teach you how do you do the accounting treatment of bonds and debentures. All such things are taught in good details in CFA, That too with international standards. They won't teach you the accounting considering Indian standards. They will teach you considering the international accounting standards. So it starts right from the basics and end to the most technical level. So the course has been designed beautifully in the sense, level 1 will give you the basic idea about all the subjects. Understanding everything. As you move towards the top, as you move through level 2 to level 3, obviously you get that precision, you get that expertise, you get that proficiency about a particular topic, about a particular concept. This is the best part of CFA. Taking the next point is learning to develop quantitative skills. Another factor, another point which puts CFA over and above MBA is to be able to work on the quantitative skills. There's this specific subject in the CFA, right, which helps you understand the statistics, which helps you understand the data, which helps you understand applying different techniques on the data. When you talk about stock market, obviously, you have a lot of data that you'll have to work with. It's not just the qualitative information. Please understand, if you are analyzing the stock, it's not just the qualitative information that you will analyze. Which, for example, let me give example of Zomato. Zomato being a listed company, which offers which products is Zomato coming up with? How many cities has Zomato opened up its services? All these are fundamental information you will be analyzing, obviously. Along with that, as a equity research analyst or as a portfolio manager or as an investment banker, you might a lot of time need to work on the quantitative data. You should be know how to crunch numbers, how to infer information out of it. Which is where again CFA plays a role, because it teaches you at least at the basic level how to work around the data, right? So it will teach you the statistical analysis. Also, next, it will give you a sense of financial modeling, as I specified a few minutes back. One of the highly needed skill when you enter into any profile of capital market is valuation. One must be able to know how to value a company, whether it is a listed company or it is a private company, or even if it is a startup. How should we go about valuing a company is very much needed. And to be able to value a company, what you need, which skill do you need? At first, financial modeling. CFA will help you understand what financial modeling is. CFA will give you a directional sense of what financial modeling is. Then it tells you about risk management. Risk management is not being what is primarily taught in CFA, but you should understand every investment has two aspects, the return and the risk. And both of them goes hand in hand. One cannot be talking only about the return without considering its risk, which means it is obvious that CFA Institute will have to teach you about the risk. So it teaches you through derivatives contract, how do you hedge a risk? If your portfolio, if it has risk, how do you hedge it? If you have different investments to make, it teaches you which investment is risky, which investment is less risky. And and forget professionalism. Even in your personal life, it will end up teaching you a lot of things. One simple concept that CFA taught, which I always use even now in my personal life, is, so in level 3, it teaches you that, okay, depending upon one's personal requirement, you should plan his investment. If someone is investing for a period of, for example, just 3 years, 2, 3, 4 years, then one should never suggest equity investment for him. Because the market is fluctuative, time being fluctuations in the market can deteriorate the capital, forget getting the return, right? So this is something which I learned even for my personal life. For example, when I was working, I was earning the salaries, and obviously you end up saving some part. Now there was a choice where to invest those savings. I knew that 2 years down the line, I'll have to purchase a car for myself, which means I couldn't invest those savings into equity market. And thank God I did not do it. Because the point where I needed to purchase the car was immediately after the COVID. And you all know what happened to the market in COVID. Almost half, everyone. Had CFA not been there to teach me that if you want to make an investment for a period of 2-3 years, don't go for equity. You might be subject or exposed to risk, which in long term is everything is fine. Please. If for in COVID, market started with 14,000, went to 7,000 approx, and then touched to 18, which means in long term, everything is cured. Who taught these fundamentals? CFA. Perfect. Then two primary things. It talks about the optimization techniques, as in optimizing is what? Getting the best out of something. So taking the least risk and in getting the most return is being taught in CFA. Time value of money, you all know the concepts related to adjusting, the compounding and discounting, basic. And again, extremely, extremely important for your successful investment journey is behavioral finance. Everyone, all of us are not machines. We are subject to emotions. And those emotions lead to decisions which may not be rational. Right? So when you have been purposefully taught that which are the emotions which are normally there in us as human, which might mislead your decision, we will consciously keep that in mind and try to not affect it and try to not let those emotions affect your decision. I'll give you a simple example. If you have started your investment journey, right? And even if you have not started, at some point, whenever you will start, you'll start with buying some random stock because that's how everyone's journey starts. You might analyze something, you might do technical analysis, fundamental, or maybe the based on tips or anything. Wherever you start from, if you purchase a share, for example, for rupees 3,000, if it is a gain, you are happy, more than happy. If it is a loss, for example, you purchased a share into 3,000, a day after which it became 2,500. There's a loss of 500 rupee that you see. Obviously, the amount of 500 is too small for you to affect. For example, the amount of investment this time is 1 lakh. You made an investment of 1 lakh. 2 days after, the investment has become 80,000. Please understand this human psychology, which again creates an issue to be not able to take the correct decision. Everyone, even if you know that my analysis was wrong, company might not be able to do as much. The company might not be able to do good in future. You know that logically this investment should be sold, but your emotional side of the brain would stop you from selling that investment because you couldn't accept, because you won't be able to accept the fact that a day before when I invested this money was 1 lakh. Now when I'm going to sell it, I'll get only 80,000. Despite knowing that this 80 might become 70 in future, you will wait for some days assuming that, okay, once this 80 becomes 1 lakh, I will sell the investments back. I'm more than 100% sure those who have made the investment would have realized this psychology for themselves at least once. And those who will now start will surely realize again. Even if an investment is expected to give loss in future, we are not able to accept this because we have incurred losses in the past. So surprising. Whereas practically we all understand past should not affect any of my future decisions. These are the behavioral finance, even that is being taught in CFA. How to not let your emotions decide your decisions, which should be fully rational, is behavioral finance. Then the most important part, everyone, what is the good side of it? Recognition. MBA is being taught by different universities, and different universities will have different level of recognition. Some companies might not allow MBA from that particular college. Some companies might value this particular university more. Another company might value that more. CFA is standardized. Whether it's you or me as a CFA, both of will have the same value. So as far as it's just about the qualification. Experience anyways is entirely personalized. You can have a different experience, someone else can have a different experience and the skill sets. When you are a CFA, irrespective of which country do you come from, which city in that country do you come from, CFA is CFA and has a global recognition. So the most important point is global recognition. You go to Dubai, you go to UK, you go to USA. You have the same value across the globe. And not just that. Once you become a CFA, you get access to the professional, to the networks of professional. Because I talk to a lot of students who saying that, sir, when we enter into MBA college, it's a good networking place. We get to talk to, interact to, we get to connect to a lot of people coming from different background, different countries. Obviously, if you are planning an abroad MBA. But let me tell you, even as a student and after clearing the CFA, once you enter into this course, you get access to the network of professionals who are pursuing CFA, who have pursued CFA, which keeps on organizing the events, right? There are one on the another webinars happening, or one or the another offline seminars happening in different part of the cities across the globe, giving you the professional updates regarding what's changing in the economy, updates regarding how should one go about equity market, getting arranging webinars from the experts. For example, hedge fund managers or the future mutual fund managers from big mutual fund houses, portfolio managers from the alternative investment funds. Listening to them itself will enhance the way people think, right? We as a student can never think the way experienced professional thinks. And the way we can learn that is to listen to them. And that happens when you get a chance with CFA Institute will give you. Again, best part that CFA gives, which I personally prefer, is CFA is a distance learning course, everyone. This is not something which you have to go and attend somewhere, right? You can learn it at your pace. It gives you flexibility. If you want to appear for this attempt, you can. If you want to take a break and appear after 3 months, you can appear that first. And you don't have to worry about, as in, I'll have to quit my work and start studying CFA. People, the best part, best part. You must have heard a lot of people saying that, what an MBA will teach you will also teach you a business if you start and do it for 2 months. I am sure you would have heard it from a lot of people saying that start a business and you will learn everything that MBA will teach you in 2 years. Let me tell you, why should we go for the exclusivity? Why should the options be mutually exclusive? Either business or MBA, either this or MBA, either job or MBA. Why can I not do something along with CFA? Please, you can continue to make it. You can continue to do it, continue to pursue it, even if you're doing something. And in fact, when you are doing it with something in hand, it's better. See, when you're studying, the perspectives are different. But when you start working, you broaden your perspectives. When you start to run a startup, you further broaden your perspectives. With those broadened perspectives, when you appear for CFA, it's entirely a different experience. So it's rather preferred to do CFA when you're working. Don't feel as if you're working, then I can't be pursuing CFA. You can. And as a student, if you do it, then you are more lucky because you start early. Because there are people who will be appearing for level 1 after starting to work. You might do it even when you've not completed your BCom. Please. So after completing your BCom or your post-graduation, when you go for a job, you should have a tag of CFA level 1 or level 2 cleared. So that it gives you an added advantage when you go for job, which is why you have been preferred by the employers, because they know what type of knowledge, what type of technical skills do you come from. And all that you can do without hampering your existing plans. This is something over and above. Then the part which is what type of profiles you can go for after completing CFA. So one I would like to first of all tell about is equity research, because that's what I did. That's what I was from. So equity research precisely is analyzing the stock, researching the companies, analyzing the stock, and then coming out with a recommendation as to whether this stock is worth investing or not. Please. And you can imagine how interesting this process, and you can imagine what all includes the research. It includes anything that you can think of. If you have to analyze TCS as a company, you'll have to think of any damn thing which can affect the business of TCS. If it is the foreign exchange rates, because TCS exports most of its work, then you should know that. For example, You must have realized this, that even when Indian economy is not doing good, or for example, even when Indian economy is doing good, but the world economy is not doing good. It happened recently. India was the one of the best country to deal with the crisis which just happened regarding the energy crisis or the inflation crisis because of the Russia-Ukraine war. India was one of the best countries to deal with it officially, as compared to the countries still suffering, UK especially. Despite TCS stock didn't go up. Why? Because TCS as a company generates approximately 95% of its revenue other than India. Countries like US and UK. So they are not doing well. How will TCS as a company will do well? This is equity research, which will teach you that when you invest in TCS, what you'll have to look at, not India, rest of the world. That's where the 95% of the revenue comes from. Again, is another thing that CFA will teach you, and obviously you'll get to work in such profiles as portfolio management. When you invest in multiple securities, it's important to know the correlation between them. People, when you invest in multiple securities, it's not just the individual securities you should be sure about. It's also how all of them are collectively valued, or how all of them are collectively evaluated in terms of risk and return. Correct? Then investment banking, one of the profiles, if you enter into mergers and acquisition, if you want to enter into the advisors F2 mergers and acquisition, if you want to work for the projects like IPOs, whenever the companies will come up with the IPOs, they will approach investment bankers, because there is a lot of things to be done: valuation, legal formalities, due diligence, everything. That is investment banking, to which even CFAs are preferred. Corporate finance, everyone, you get a chance to work with the companies, because at company level, a lot of decisions are to be taken. If you want to invest in a project, whether it makes sense to invest or not, if you want to raise money, whether we should be raising money through equity or through bank loan or by issuing the bonds, all such decisions are to be taken in the company, and CFA is proficient enough to take all such decisions, which is why even he's preferred over there, right? So these are various profiles where you, after getting CFA, will get a chance to work for. And CFA also gives you job assistance. So there's this placement, just like the colleges have the placement drives, right? Similarly, CFA also has its placement services, which will give you access to the opportunities that companies come up with. And again, something ignored but important is ethics and professionalism. On a lighter note, let me tell you the amount of focus that CFA does on ethics. CFA gives so much of importance on the ethics, on your behavior, on your professional behavior after you become a chartered, that if you take those things seriously, you might end up becoming ethical to an extent even in your personal life. This has happened, right? People might end up becoming a bit ethical even in their personal life, just after reading the ethics. This is the degree, this is the amount of focus CFA Institute places on ethics. And why is that needed? All these profiles which are talked about now are sensitive profiles, in the sense, in all such profiles, you're exposed to capital market, and capital market is exposed to public in general. And which is why it becomes a sensitive profile, which is why we have such a strict watchdog, SEBI. Even slightest of market manipulation or unprofessionalism or insider trading, SEBI spots the issue. Who will teach you which are the professional acts you can do, which are the things you could not do? CFA will teach you, right? How should you behave? Which information should you make use of? Which information which you should never disclose to public? What are your responsibilities as a CFA? All such things are being taught with more than needed attention in CFA, which will help you somewhere to excel even practically after you get into the corporates. Because even the corporates will ask you to, expect you to have that professionalism and ethics, that understanding of which information is sensitive, I should not disclose which is sensitive. Because the companies and the employee doing such misacts are subject to huge penalties beyond expectations, imaginations. So these are the factors, these are the points which places CFA over and above MBA. And I should say, why should I again create a mutually exclusive situation? They are in addition to an MBA. That was everything, I believe, which I could convey to you guys regarding CFA. From the content it will cover, from the opportunities it will give you, from the profiles you would be able to enter into, and the ethical standards that you will get to learn. And I think, Satish, if that was okay, should we open for the questions? Unless, obviously, if you want to take it ahead, you can, Satish.
Sure. Hi. Yeah. So Adish, really a great session. I think even I was very convinced about doing CFA myself. So right now I want to also tell them, a lot of our students want to go about CFA, right? A lot of them want to start with it. So how to go about it, what are the details on those lines, right? What are the attempts and stuff, right? So I'll just quickly share my screen, if that's okay.
Yeah, so I'll stop share.
Yeah, and you would have to give me the host access as well. Yeah.
1 second. So, can you please unmute yourself again so that I get to know?
Yeah.
Achha, yeah, I got you. Did you get it?
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Please continue.
Okay, so guys, please let us know how many of you are looking to start now. What are your plans? Have you decided anything on when to write the exams? You can put it on the chats though. Okay, I can see a few chats coming in. Right. So a lot of you have written November 23, planning this year. Okay. Okay, good. So just to sum it up, over here we have four kind of attempts for level one, right? You have February, May, August, and November for level one specifically, and level two and level three keep changing from year to year. Although this year it is May, August, and November. Now, going to what has to be done, right? Now, CFA requires around 8 to 9 months of your time, guys, okay, to prepare for one level. And during this 8 to 9 months, it concludes of your classes, your live interactive classes, then your tests, your mocks, and revision, everything, right? So 8 to 9 months is the minimum time required. Now, this changes from people to people. Like it can be different for a college student, it can be different for a working class person as such. So depending on that, we'll have to decide based on your speed of studies and stuff. We'll help you decide when to start and which attempt to go for, right? Now, at this point, this year, November is what you can realistically target for this year. However, August would be very too late for now to start, right? Now, at CF at Zell, we teach you the entire portion. These are all live classes, not like this webinar where it's a one-way action. We let our students unmute their mics, speak in the webinars, speak about their problems or questions that they have during the class. All the faculties like Adish himself are CFA qualified people, right? They are qualified as CFAs, and then they work with Zell and also cooperate sometimes, so that at the same time they can teach you from the real life experiences. Like the examples that Adish was explaining was probably from his own real life experience, right? Similarly, those kind of examples to bring them from their real lives, we have the CFA qualified teachers. Now we have two set of batches as well, weekdays, weekends, so that we can allot batches based on the requirements of the students, right? Let's say a student is from an engineering background. A lot of y'all were from the engineering background. I saw a few of them from the non-commerce background as well, hotel management stuff. So for you guys also, to start with the basics, to spend more time with the teachers, we have the weekday batches. For the people who are already in the commerce background, who have experience and stuff, who can easily pick it up, right? We have the weekend batches, right? So we have two set of batches as well, specifically personalized in a way that we can help you personally to prepare for it. Now, also placement assistance, thanks to a lot of our corporate teachers and all the circle network that we make through this, we have placements as well through Zell. So we get a lot of placement activities happening every month on month basis. If you fall under the criteria, you like the company, you like the pay, everything, you can also go for the interview through us, right? Now, a few benefits of going through with us is, the passing rate, tests and mocks that we have. We have been the number one coaching institute for ACCA, CFA, CMA for a very long time now. And the best part is, before all of this starts, we intend to uh, speak to you one-on-one first, understand where do you stand, understand the students' capacity, capability, and give them the right guidance on how they should be going about it, and only then start with the learning material, right? Now, I just quickly rush through it. So I just want to take a minute and ask you guys if you have any questions about the learning pattern, right? First of all. Okay, so there's a question from Sachin saying, I'm from engineering background. How difficult is it for an engineer guy? So first of all, Sachin, it is, and we have a few engineering students. It takes a couple of months more than what a general commerce background students might, take. But as of now, if you start, maybe if others are going for the November attempt, you can write the February attempt a little longer than what is required, right? Uh, Ajay has asked a question. I want to do CFA, but due to financial issues, I'll do it after 1 month for registration. Perfect. So, Ajay, actually, your registrations, your exam registrations with CFA has to happen only in the month of May if you're going for November attempt, right? So, guys, please remember the registrations are different for CFA and for Zell. So, CFA always comes later because over here in Zell, we try to first train you, understand and help you understand if you should go for the right attempt or if you should go for the decided attempt or not. Let's say you find yourself not being able to give time to CFA as well as the other stuff that you're doing. We might suggest you to go for the next attempt, but during that time we get done with our portion so that you are ready and then you can spend more time in the revision period, right? Okay. Okay. So timings and class fees. Abhi, I think we'll have to get in touch to discuss that because it depends from the time to time about our batch availability and stuff. I have written a number on the bottom of the screen. You can take that number and uh, you can get in touch with us. We'll help you out with that. Right. Now, the fees payable to CFA, right? I guess most of you might know. However, just taking you through it, the one-time registration fee is $350. Exam fees is $900 to $1,550. Now, usually when we are helping you with the registration, we'll help you to do it in the early bird time period itself. We'll give you reminders and stuff for that. Now, how does that work? For November attempt, you guys have to register only by the first week of May. So right now we'll start studying. We'll understand where do we stand, how much time it's going to take for us to study, and then we'll go about the examination and registration bit. Until then, you guys don't have to worry. Okay. And for the February, for your information, it will be until August. So we have a lot of time for February as well. Okay. Right. So a bit few basics about the batches that we have here, depending on the college students, mid-year college student, fresher students. like you guys can see, we have made plans for each and every kind of student that we get in this segment, right? So please reach out to us. If you can see the number on the bottom of the screen, you can call us up and even WhatsApp us if you want, and we'll give you all the details very clearly. Okay. Right. Now, this part, I guess the scope part, Adish has told you very clearly. So we'll directly get into the question and answer section of the webinar. Adish, do you mind turning on your camera and let's start taking question and answers?
Yep.
Okay.
There.
Okay, perfect. Right. So, okay, let's start with the chat box. I can see a question regarding FM, financial modeling, a little early in the webinar.
So that's what time it was it asked, Satish?
It was early in the webinar.
Like you would be able to see the time.
It's around 5:28 p.m. Anonymous attendee. Financial modeling, I don't get that actually. Can you please explain it again?
So, okay. So there was someone who asked about the financial modeling. Are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you, to be able to value a company, it requires a lots of calculation to be made, right? A lot of analysis to be done about the company, about its business, about its revenue, about its cost, about its employee, its loans, the assets, working capital, a lot of things. All those calculations are to be done on Excel, right? So financial modeling is precisely making a complicated calculation on the Excel so that ultimately you can achieve two things. First, able to value a company and able to make the make its financial analysis. I hope it was decent enough for me to explain. Yeah.
Understood. Okay. So there is one question actually, even I am very interested to know this. When it comes to investment banking, there was a question at 541. Again, the name is not mentioned over there. It says if you want to get into investment banking, is it necessary to be from one of the top MBA colleges or CFA helps?
So let me be very upfront to answer this question. So I have seen it practically a lot of investment banking firms, right? Forget about the MNCs. I'm not talking about the companies like ICICI Securities or JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley, right? Even the boutique investment banking firms, right? Even the smaller ones, even they prefer MBAs with good colleges. Even they might not give a chance to work for a normal MBA fresher or a tier 3 MBA student, tier 3 MBA college student to have that opportunity directly, right? So which after becoming CFA, you get an additional advantage to be able to work for such profiles. So if you are already pursuing MBAs from the IIMs or other tier 1 colleges, then you will get a direct opportunity. Then don't do CFA only for the purpose of that opportunity. For additional knowledge, obviously you can. But only for the purpose of such opportunities, you should be doing CFA if already you're from a tier 1 college. If not, then CFA is going to help you to get into such profiles.
Okay, perfect. Any other question, guys? Please shoot questions on the chat. There's a question: average salary of an MBA is higher than that of CFA charter. Should I go for MBA?
So, where's that question?
Just now, 555, anonymous attendee again.
Okay. Yeah. If we do online MBA finance, is worth or we have to go for CFA? See, in my understanding, MBA is not teaching about the technical things. MBA is about developing other skill sets along with teaching the basics of finance, or to an extent, even the advanced level of finance. But it's more about learning the things when you're around the people, when you're working with them, when you're studying with them, maybe engaging into a project, like learning other soft skills, negotiation skill, a lot of other skill sets. And all of them doesn't make sense if you do it online. So in my opinion, unless you need a tag of the college, or unless you need, unless you need a tags to show to your company, it makes no sense to do an online MBA straight away. Whereas for CFA, why does it make sense? Because here the learning objective is to not develop those other skills, which you can otherwise also develop while working with the company. Soft skills like negotiation. All such skills you can anyways develop, right? The technical skills can be taught even online. And this is why the entire curriculum has been designed through distance learning. Otherwise, even CFA Institute would have colleges in your cities, but it doesn't now. Because they understand the way curriculum has been designed, a student can learn it online and through distance learning. So I think that was sufficient to answer.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so there is a question about scholarships. A few of them have asked. I'll just answer this question very quickly. So, guys, there are three types of scholarships over here in CFA, right? One is a student scholarship, then you have the access scholarship, and then women's scholarship, right? Now, for being in the student scholarship section, you have to be from a certain recognized college or university. Okay, that's listed on the CFA website. Now, right now, as far as I remember, only Delhi University is there on the list. Okay, and a few IIMs are there on the list. So that is there. Now, apart from that, Access Scholarship is for everyone. That is for students who require financial aid. Technically, this reduces the examination fees that you have, and you just have to write an essay based on why do you want to do CFA and etc. stuff, right? So you can go and apply over there. A few of you have applied and it shows not submitted. Actually, Vaishnavi, I have gotten a few responses of the similar sort from a few of my students as well. We are still checking with CFA body what is an issue, but you can, get in touch with them from your end as well. Maybe you get an answer quickly, earlier than us. Yeah. Okay.
So can I ask a question in the meantime?
Sure. Please, yeah.
Nishant, it makes absolute sense to start as early as possible. Even if you don't have much knowledge of the finance, don't assume that, oh, I should be waiting first to gain the knowledge. That you can do as and when needed, even during pursuing. So, for example, you start to pursue CFA. First year, all the faculties will be taking you right from the basics of everything. Even if you feel that, oh, I'm not settled enough with those, you can learn those things immediately. But don't wait to pursue CFA. Like, it's very much needed to start your career early. The earlier you start early, the more choices you have to explore, right? So just for getting more knowledge, it doesn't make sense to delay your whatever course you want to pursue, whether it's CFA or MBA or whatever. MBA, people defer to do MBA because it is the requirement of the colleges to come with an experience. There's no such filter for CFA now. So please don't wait for it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Actually, a lot of students, Arish, have come to me as well, saying कि हम लोग करते हैं 2 महीने बाद, 4 महीने बाद, या maybe with some experience. Honestly, guys, the biggest issue that we have seen with CFA students is whenever they have delayed the attempt, even by 1 or 2 months, it has always costed them a reattempt or maybe 6 months later writing another attempt. Right, that the reason solely being it's an extensive program, right? You're right, you're learning around 10 subjects at the same time to go on one day and write the entire knowledge out. So that requires a lot of revision and practice, and a proper study structure is very important, right? So let's start. Don't wait for even a couple of months for any reason, like Adish mentioned about maybe the experience factor or any other factor. Start with it, and only then you will know where do you stand, right? So I think that's some suggestion from my end as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a few more, a couple of questions more we'll take, right? And then we can also, you guys can also get in touch with us on the call. We have an entire team of CFA counselors who can help you out, right? Adish, you want to take the last couple of questions?
Yeah. So someone asking about, sir, CFA along with graduation, is it good enough profile for a good job, especially when in graduation? See, I would answer this question very much upfrontly, is that CFA level 1 gives you a good start in the sense your employer would know your intention. Your employer would know that, okay, you are already settled with the qualification, but still you're willing to learn. And he knows that if you stay with him for a year, you will be done with even level 2, right? So which is why you get a preference over a normal student. Having said that, that does not mean that if you are a level 1 with a normal college, you will get into very big corporates, right? You will have to start with the small companies, but even that is not a loss. Getting into a profile is very much important. Start with the small countries. You make 2-3 switches with experience, with learnings, with CFA done. Obviously, you'll be able to get to a position which is very good with good MNCs. Okay. Now we have this question: is it okay to start working after clearly, or we need to start while? No. It's entirely okay to start working after level 1, but it is suggested to start working after level 1 at least. Okay. It's entirely okay if you don't work at level 1. It's rather preferred, because there's a possibility that while working with level 1, you might get distracted, or you might, because in the level 1, you're new to the course, you're new to the institute, you're new to the approach, right? So you might be needed to give more time and efforts to crack it. And we don't want to take a chance. At Zell, what we focus primarily on to make it with our best. So we don't want to delay it, or we don't want to compromise the learnings at any cost, which is why what do? You can opt this to appear for level 1 without experience. Once you have a sense of what this curriculum is, how does the exam happens, what nature of question institute asks, then you can start to work. Okay. Then someone is saying networking is very easy. So networking and all that happens over the time, right? It's not a mission type of a thing that you have to immediately start with, right? It's part of inherently your nature. No time to start. If you started today, well and good. If you're able to start it after level 1, it's good. And if you're able to start it after becoming CFA, even that is good. Earlier it is better it is. Okay. Can't be a generalized answer to that. High level, how should one approach this exam month by month? As in, I could not get your question, Nishant. Okay. So someone is asking.
There's a question about coaching is beneficial in this journey. Can't we self-prepare for it?
You would
there is
be.
definitely
Please.
there is definitely a lot of scope for self-preparation as well, right? We have a lot of students who start preparing. The honest problem that people face is after 2 months they realize that the course program is so extensive that they need someone to help them. Right now, experts like our teachers who already have cleared the papers know exactly what are the steps they need to take, or what are the steps they need to put the students into to clear the exam. So coaching in general only helps you to make it easier, right? The studies are going to be done by you at the end. It's going to make a 4,000, 5,000 page book very comparably smaller for you to get done with it in the limited time possible, right? And that's where we step in. We make your journey easier. We make you understand stuff easier, so that you will spend more time in practicing than just understanding what's there in the portion, right? So that is, if you feel you are one person who needs to understand portion, right, who needs someone's help to understand what has to be done, then coaching is necessary for you.
Is that all, Sushil? That will be sufficient.
Yeah, I think this will be sufficient. So guys, really glad that so many questions came up. We can still keep answering your questions. Like I said, we have our number on the screen. You can text us, you can give us a call. Our experts will be there on the line to help you out, right? And we'll definitely guide you through each and every query that you have that's possible one-on-one, and also about how to go about this course and CFA, right? Thank you so much, Adish. Thank you so much, guys, for attending.
Thank you so much, Adish, for the opportunities, and thank you so much, everyone, for being here and listening to me patiently, and to Satish. You guys can again get in touch on LinkedIn for any such queries if you think I can be of help too. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.